Hey, perfect civic education students, welcome to the new topic, Introduction to Cultural Studies. Culture, in short, culture. So we are now done with substance abuse and we are looking at culture. What is culture? So culture refers to the whole way of life of a group of people. How you live, where you are in your society. How do you conduct yourself? How do you conduct things like funerals, marriage ceremonies, like weddings, chilangamlilo, and all those things? So that is your way of life. What food do you eat? What language do you speak? That is what we are calling culture. Together, that is your way of life. That is culture. So now, what are the components of culture? What are the components of culture? The first component of culture is language. When you look at the language, you just hear the language that someone is speaking. You say, oh, this one is from Luapula. Oh, this one is from Western Province. This one is from Eastern Province. You are able to tell just by looking at the language. So language is a component of culture. Apart from that, we have religion. Religion is a major cultural component, and religious taboos, customs, holidays, and rituals dictate the behavior of a given society. Religion dictates the behavior of a given society. For example, Jehovah's Witnesses do not celebrate holidays like Christmas, New Year, and everything. They don't. So that defines or that dictates their way of life. What is doing that? Religion. The next one is education. Education. Education is also a component of culture. It is an important part of culture since culture is a learned behavior. Education is an important part of culture since it is a learned behavior. There are three types of learning that take place in society. 1, we have formal learning. 2, informal learning. And 3, we have technical learning. So what are these types of learning? The first one, which is informal learning, this is whereby a child learns by imitating the behaviors portrayed either by their elder brothers or in movies like that. For example, when a child is watching a movie, and then at the end of the day, you just see the child performing or portraying the same behavior that was in the movie. So how did that child learn that behavior? Through informal learning. They just learn by imitating. That's why as elders we have to be very careful, because there is informal learning. Children learn just by imitating what we do. Oh, my mother always go to church on Sunday. I'll also be going. That child has learned through informal learning just by imitating what you are doing. Then formal learning involves you as elders guiding the children now, teaching them what they should do, the behavior, how should they conduct themselves. You are supposed to kneel down whenever you are giving something to elders. You teach them like that. So that is formal learning. You elders teaching the young ones. Technical learning, this one involves a teacher with a chalk instructing a child in a classroom, instructing a child in a way which he or she is supposed to conduct him or herself. How should they conduct themselves? A teacher is involved here. So informal learning, they just learn by imitating. Formal learning, elders guiding them. Technical learning, teachers instructing children. Apart from education, we also have technological and material culture. This refers to society's ability to create, design, and use things. Technology and material culture relates to the way society organizes its economic activities. This one I'll talk about China, Japan. For example, in Japan, they are able to do what? To manufacture vehicles. They are able to make vehicles. Are we able to do that in Zambia? No. So this is a component of culture, technological and material culture. Society's ability to create and design things. Law and politics. These are rules and structures that regulate the behavior of society. The legal rules attract punishment when contravened. That's why in Zambia we have our what? Our constitution. We have our constitution. Social organization. This is the way a society organizes itself. So now we're talking about things like relationships, social institutions such as marriages, and status systems such as the role of women and children. How a society organizes itself. This is where we can bring things like how you organize funerals. Do you sleep on funerals? How you organize ceremonies like wedding ceremonies, mateveto. Do you do those things? Isambodiamfwa, all those things. Yeah. So societies way of life, how they organize themselves. Values and attitudes. These are a society's belief system as well as a society's heart, and they are the least likely to change. They are just values that people believe in. They just believe to say, oh, these are true, these they are like that. So this is how to call the values and attitudes. For example, as a man, you are supposed to pay lobola before you marry a what? A woman. That's a belief. Yeah. Components of culture. Apart from the components of culture, let us talk about the characteristics of culture. The characteristics of culture. So, one, culture is dynamic. This means that culture is not constant. It is not constant. It is always evolving and changing. Two, culture is learned. It is passed on from one generation to another. Culture is cumulative. Every human generation can discover new things and invent better technologies which become part of culture. We can add new things. Culture is comprehensive. It is the sum total of a society's way of life. Therefore, it is comprehensive as it requires various aspects which gives meaning to life. Everything, every aspect of life for a certain society or a specific society is there in culture. That's why we are saying it is comprehensive. It involves everything, the way of life for a given society. Culture is shared. Culture is shared. For this one, I can just give you a practical example. In the past, as Zambians, as Africans, we never used to dress like we are dressing currently. We never used to dress like that. We copied that behavior, that attitude, that dress code from people somewhere, the white people. So culture is shared. That shows that culture is shared. We have changed the way of dressing now. We have changed. Culture is shared. Culture is based on symbols. Culture is based on symbols. For example, the Catholic rosary. Those two things for Catholic they put in the neck. They put in the neck. That's culture. It involves symbols to show that, oh, this one is a Catholic, this one is a Catholic. Culture is integrated. This means that culture must be integrated. It must be compressed more like in order for it to be transmitted successfully from one person to another. Not this aspect is here, the other aspect is there. It has to be integrated more like it has to be one thing. It has to be one thing. Culture is integrated. These and others are the characteristics of culture. So study more on the characteristics of culture. There are many, in fact. There are plenty characteristics of culture. So it was just the introduction to this topic, culture. We have talked about the components of culture and the characteristics of culture. Watch out for the part 2 of this video for our topic, culture. Your perfect tutor. See you next time.